Hello.
Hello everyone.
Hey guys, it's Nissa, the Hypnobirthing midwife, and
I'm Marta and I'm a gentle sleep consultant.
yes, and also a very good friend of mine,
Yes.
and a very clever woman, Marta, as well. We are here today to do the first of 6 Facebook Lives with 6 amazing experts. Really lucky that everyone's made time to share their wisdom.
Always.
Oh, bless you. So we're going to start. We're just going to kick in.
Yeah.
What I would say is if you're watching live and you want to drop a few questions below, we might have time to answer them. If not in the live, maybe later as well. So please feel free to say hi and jump on. So I'm going to set the scene.
Okay,
I'm going to set the scene.
Okay.
But this is my scene, and I feel like this might be the same for many mothers with their tiny babies. So we're thinking about the first month after birth, and so let's say in the first week, 2 or 3 weeks,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You're finding that your baby's waking up maybe every 2 hours, sometimes every 1 hour, 3 hours. You have never experienced sleep deprivation on the same level. And possibly, maybe I'm just talking about myself. You feel
Sounding familiar.
like you might be going a little bit mad.
Yeah.
Help! Any tips?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think the first one is very much like during labour. Breathe.
Yes.
I certainly remember practicing my hypnobirthing breathing on the days after I had my son,
So
my
true.
last one. So first thing I would say is to lower the expectations.
Okay.
And to give yourselves a break. So that's the good news. That's easy, right? That's an easy one.
How do we do it?
Yeah, we read a lot, don't we? And we Google and we get very worried about creating a rod for your own back and spoiling babies. So the first thing I would say is that that's not possible. You can't spoil a baby. They don't have the necessary abilities to become spoiled. So if you take that away and you lower your expectations and accept that baby sleep when they need to sleep, then that becomes easier because mentally you're prepared for it. So of course, the other thing is that they won't sleep all night. Of course, they want their stomachs that tiny.
Why not?
Why
not?
Cuddles.
Yeah.
So they've just arrived.
Right.
So sleep when they sleep. I know everybody says that, but it really helps if during the day you're having little breaks, even if you're not sleeping, that you're resting, resting your mind. Don't fill your days with visitors. There's time. Send them pictures and videos. Keep them at bay and rest.
And that's hard, isn't it? When you've been a busy person, maybe probably working, not used to sleeping in the day, like just getting your head around, I'm allowed.
You're allowed
have a
to.
rest.
Yeah, and start during pregnancy. If you're still pregnant, get used to resting, allowing yourself that time. You're so right. So in the first couple of weeks, as much skin to skin as you can. Help the baby connect with you, listen to your heartbeat. It helps with their breathing, it helps bonding, and it helps them to just relax. And the more calm you are, so the higher your oxytocin levels, the calmer your baby will be. And this is the same for partners, I mean both parents. That's really important to remember. It's not just mum.
That's a big one, isn't it? Because it's a new skill. You're perhaps learning to breastfeed if you're breastfeeding, and that can be quite a little bit stressful. Sometimes very stressful. Sometimes it's really easy. It's a bit, potluck.
It's an unknown, isn't it? But lowering those expectations, resting when the baby rests, and lots of contact, lots of cuddle, skin to skin while the baby's awake would be really useful just to start with.
That sounds like heaven, and you can do that from day one.
From day one, as much as possible, lots of skin to skin.
Amazing. And so what about, so this is something that I hear as a midwife a lot.
Okay.
So this, I'd love your advice on this one, Marta. So as a community midwife, so often I'd go and do a visit to my mum on day 3 or 4, normally day 3 or 2 sometimes as well, and she'd be like, my baby's not slept all night, it's been awake all night, feeding like mad. Is that normal? She'd be so worried, you know?
Yeah, and it's adding on to that is you haven't slept, so that mum wouldn't have slept all night. So you become almost a little paranoid, don't you? And it's all so new, and what are you doing wrong? You're doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's in the beginning is feed. So if we think about the baby, we think of our day in terms of a 12-hour, don't we? But for babies, it's 24 hours, I'm afraid. So they will feed when they need to feed, day and night. They don't have day and night at that point. They will have day and night around week 12, I'm afraid. So they'll wait. Until then, I'm afraid it is constant feeding. So again, it goes back to think about your day as in a 24-hour day as well. So if you're resting when the baby rests during the day, then you're able to cope with the nights.
So true. And if you're not resting in the day,
because you might have a toddler
or a teenager,
or both, like some of us, then just rest. You might not be able to sleep. I totally understand that as a mother of 3, but it's just resting, being really disciplined that everything else can wait. And you're just resting your mind as much as possible, and explain to the other children that you do need that rest. There's lots of ways you can do that without being neglectful. And something that it comes as I feel really useful, a tip from other parents, is WhatsApp groups or other groups you can have with mums that have babies at the same time, so that during the night when you're like, I'm the only person in the world awake, you can talk with other people.
Oh, that's a lovely
It's
thing.
really useful. It sort of normalises.
How modern.
How very modern of me.
Wow, because that wasn't happening Jazz's night.
No.
So that's so nearly a decade ago. Wow, that's reassuring. Reassuring. Amazing. So then another thing I think that I get asked quite a lot, and I don't really have the answer to, because you know I'm good for 2 or 3 weeks, but as a midwife I know nothing about bigger babies. So when they are, let's say, you know, it's been a few weeks or maybe 6 weeks, parents, they're very tired so often, and they can, including myself, start to get a little bit desperate.
Yes.
Help us.
So then it gets exciting, doesn't it? And I love that phase. I think in the beginning, very much just be kind to yourselves, accept that sleep is going to be difficult, but as long as the baby's comfortable, we're not talking about colic, reflux or something else, it's going to be a little tricky. Once your body, mums, your body recovers and you've got your wits about you a little bit more, you're starting to go out a little bit, then you can start to think, okay, so what could we do? And the very best tip I can give is thinking about the environment. So setting up a really good environment for sleep. So one of the things we normally do is we don't put our babies down until they're fast asleep.
Yes.
Because it's really scary, isn't it? You put them down and they cry and you have to start again. Yes. So I would say while the baby is awake and happy, just really chilled, happy to play, bright eyes, put the baby in the cot, put that baby down. Just so that they know the cot is a safe place. Stay close together, have cuddles, show a little toy, be very happy and smiley, so that the baby knows the cot is a safe place. When I say cot, it could be your bed, it could be crib, doesn't matter, wherever they sleep, so that they know it's a safe place to go. They recognise it. Allow them time to recognise where they are.
On a daily basis?
On a daily basis, a little bit every day. Because what you're doing is you're building up those connections with, okay, this is the cot, it's a safe place, as are my parents' arms or the whatever else you're using.
Yeah. I think first-time parents, including me, often find this thing where, you don't want to put your baby down anyway. You want to have them with you. And then there comes to a point where you find that you don't seem to be able to put them down. Something happens.
So if we think about their brain and everything that's happening, they've got those billion of neurons all alive, ready to go, and all those networks are being formed. And if you never put the baby down in the cot, that network of it's safe to be in the cot hasn't been formed. So when you then want to put them down, they're like, hang on a minute, I don't know if this is a good idea. So it takes a little longer. So if you do it from the beginning, then it's always been there. Yeah, day one. And I'm by no means saying put them down and leave the room. And I'm saying stay close, just a few minutes. Yeah. So it's nice. And you get to see them rather than just being like this. You get to look at your baby. It's fine. You can do that.
Talk to them.
Absolutely. Show that toy. So then when you are ready to help them sleep in the cot by themselves, that's already built. There's already positive associations with the cot. And then it's the rest. It's setting up the environment. It's thinking, okay, so what's the lighting like? Does my baby like to be in the dark? Some do. Or does my baby need a little bit of lighting? So the best way to think about it is use the senses. So think about all the baby senses. So sight is a really good one. So we're thinking about the lighting. Smells are really important. So smells fast track memory. So if you're wanting to create a sleep environment that babies will remember, smells really useful.
So clever.
And smell, the one we think of is lavender. There is enough evidence to tell us lavender is helpful in terms of sleeping. That's not just for us, it's also for babies.
Amazing.
And it helps us as well. So if you're calm, because you can smell lavender, you're calm, you're going to pass that on to your baby, because those hormones are really contagious. So if you've got lots of adrenaline in your body, so will your baby. So you want to stay calm. So we're thinking sight and smell, and then we have touch. And then you're thinking bedding. Is it nice and soft? And is it nice and warm? Some sheets are very crisp and cold when they're new. So think more about a big muslin to cover the mattress, or even one of your t-shirts that will smell of you, and you can put the mattress inside. Just make sure it's nice and safe.
So clever.
So you've got two things there, the smell and
couple
the
of
touch.
day one t-shirts
If you're breastfeeding, the milk, the let down milk on your t-shirt will have that lovely smell that your babies will love.
Wow.
So there's lots you can do there. Then thinking of movement, that's another good one. So are you having to rock your baby? That's fine. They love it. Try to once in a while help them to also sleep in the cot without it, so they're not very, very used to being rocked to sleep, which is lovely. But then later you might become tired when they're heavier.
The big baby. Yeah. I remember with the big baby.
Yeah, good it's such a lovely thing. They'll want to keep doing it. And then the last one, sounds. So what can they hear? If they have white noise from the beginning, they tend to really enjoy it because it sounds the same sounds that they would have had in the womb. So there's lots of white noise machines and toys and apps and all sorts. I would say if you can get one that senses when the baby's moving. So even if it turns off during the night, once the baby starts moving, it turns back on.
Wow.
Which is really clever.
And that helps?
That helps because what babies try to do is they try to reproduce the way in which they went to sleep. So if they went to sleep with this lovely environment that we've talked about, but then they wake up during the night and that's not there, they'll be thinking there's something missing. So the sounds, everything else you can reproduce really well. The sounds sometimes you don't, there are really popular machines that switch off after 20-25 minutes. So a sleep cycle lasts 45. So at 45 minutes they come to a light sleep and the machine switched off. But there are machines that switch back on, so it is useful.
It's so clever.
We're blessed in 2018.
Wow.
Because there's so much stuff.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I think I had no conception of any of that stuff when I had Jazz. Not a clue.
No, I 16 years ago, I used to sleep with my daughter in the kitchen by the fume extractor because she loved the sound. It was freezing cold, but there we were. Now I know why. Information's
so amazing. I hope you enjoyed Marta's top tips for the first month, really. I learned loads. If you'd like to contact Marta, you've got a workshop coming up.
I've got a workshop coming up. So if you live in East London, there's a workshop in Walthamstow in the Toy Library on the 29th at 12:30, and I'm going to sell the tickets soon, so it will be on my website. She says after Christmas, but it will be on my website. And there's a really amazing Facebook group I started recently, and parents are amazing. It's called Sleepy Parents, and I would really recommend joining because you can ask questions, and I'm more than happy to answer.
Yes, so amazing. And the workshop is really great value, ladies. So it's an hour?
It's an hour and a half. I've extended it. An hour and a half. And it's £30.
Yeah,
it's really good value.
It's a good price. So Marta will put that on. It's not on the website, but it will be there soon.
It will be in the tickets. Thank you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, bye guys.
Bye bye.
We'll see you next
See you
week.
soon.